Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lori and I'm the face behind Entre Tejidos Crochet, where we talk about anything crochet related. Today's video is everything I made in October, and I was really surprised that I made a total of 25 crocheted items. It's a bit different from other months where it would be 25 plushies or 16 plushies, but I actually got to make some wearables to over the course of October. So yeah, it's 25 crocheted items. Now the way the video is going to be divided, it'll be pattern tests. The second category will be stash patterns, so patterns that I've had in my stash that I did not pattern test, or I pattern tested way back when, that sort of thing. And the third category will be my patterns. Before we get started, please check out the description box below. These sorts of everything I made videos function as like a pattern roundup sort of video, if you will, where if you like a pattern that I show here, the link will be in the description box below, so please consider checking out the designer, checking out their pattern if you really liked it. The description box also has all the links to my stuff, so if there's a plushie that you liked, it might be on my Etsy, so if you liked it, you can go grab it. If it's my pattern, you can also find it on Etsy. And if you love Premier Yarns as much as I do, there's also an affiliate link down below. Now that we got all of that out of the way, let's look at what I made this month. Starting off strong with this. It's the Laurel Bay cardigan. Granted, I did not make it in October. I finished it in October. It was actually a pattern test for Jelly Donut Knits. If I'm not mistaken, it was back in August that she released the pattern. However, I just got way too busy. I just didn't have enough time to sit down and work on a couple of rows. So it got finished up 2 months later. But the important thing is that it's done and I love it for sure so much. The other two patterns that I tested were for snugglers, and I've tested patterns for these designers before. The first one is this chameleon, and the name is Campbell Chameleon, and the pattern is by Oddball Crochet. I don't know why, but I kind of have to make Oddball Crochet's patterns in variegated yarn. As I was finishing him up, I was thinking that I think, I could be wrong, but I've only made 2 of her patterns in solid colors. The others have been variegated or spotted yarn. I don't know why, her patterns just make me want to make them in variegated yarn. The eyes are by Straight Up Handmade, and they are the frog type. I figured that it would go well with the overall look. And yes, he's a blue chameleon, but chameleons shift color. Second pattern going strong. And then the other snuggler pattern is Patty the Polar Bear. The pattern is by Wildcraft Crochet, and this isn't the first time I've showed him here. Last week's video I featured him. He got a little bit of a facelift. I don't know why. The first couple of times, I think I had to do his nose, I want to say 3 times until it got just perfect. Another snuggler made in variegated yarn, and I double stranded it with eyelash yarn to give it that sort of scraggly look. When you look at polar bears, baby polar bears, yes, they're furry, but they're also very fuzzy. And I don't know, I just went with the whole like baby polar bear look. The main reason I did not pattern test a lot of patterns this month was because I had 2 patterns that needed to be released this month. So I was like, okay, let me just hold back on applying for pattern tests so that I can really like focus on mine. In a way, it also helped that I was busy and couldn't apply to pattern tests because I am bad at signing up for pattern tests and pattern tests and pattern tests. And then it's like, yay, I'm excited. I get picked for a bunch of these, and then I get nervous that I might not have enough time. And yes, I know that most, if not all of the designers understand that life sometimes happens, but I don't know, it's just me that I'm like, oh my goodness, am I going to have time? So this time around, I did not pattern test a lot of patterns. Hopefully we can go back to pattern testing a bit more in November. The second category of patterns is stash patterns. These are patterns that I have in my stash that I've either pattern tested before, but not like in this current month, or that I've bought and they are sitting in my stash waiting to be done. Or it's just a pattern that I looked up for free on like Instagram, or that I found a tutorial on YouTube, that sort of category. And let's start with the wearables. I was able to finish 2 easy and quick beanies. The pattern is by Bag O' Day Crochet. It's a free tutorial on her YouTube. I'll link it down below. And I was able to make 2, I would guess like child-sized beanies from one skein of Big Twist Hush using a 7mm crochet hook. And you know, it's nice and cozy. It's really soft. It's really, really soft. So I was able to get 2 of those done, which I'm really happy for because I have about a month before I have to send out my beanies and twisted headbands donation, along with small plushies for the Cuddles for Courage plushie and beanie drive, if you will. So the fact that I got 2 of these done is yay for me. The other stash pattern was this spotted chicken. The pattern is by Kaylee Callie Crochet, and this was for a custom order that I had to make earlier in the month. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get together with the person who ordered it, so I have to get in touch with her, but it's done. And I love these chunky chickens so much. They're different from the Mabel chickens that went viral and I believe are still viral, but they're different. And I like both chickens, but then again, I like chickens. I love Stardew Valley, so I even have my very own blue chicken, like back there. I am not parting ways with that blue chicken. Now, the other stash pattern I did buy at the beginning of October. I managed to make 4 of these. Let me organize them so that they're not like flipped over. I made 4 candies from the Avery Crochets pattern, and I don't know, they just look so cute. So I made 4 of these candies because along with beanies and twisted headbands, I'm sending along mini plushies to be added to joy jars for the Cuddles for Courage plushie and beanie drive. So I got 4 of those done, and I actually got these done last week. I'll link the video up here if you're interested on the sort of like challenge that I had for myself, that to see how many mini makes I could make in a week. And it's kind of funny that I just showed you a small make and then we go to like this really, really big make. This one is right like hot off the hook. The pattern is by Oddball Crochet, and I actually tested this pattern last month, but I got a custom order for another variegated pink elephant because last month I made 2 and they sold. And then I got a custom order for another pink one, and I get to drop her off tomorrow, for which I'm excited for. Yes, another Oddball Crochet pattern in variegated yarn. I'm telling you, I don't know why. I just need to make her patterns in variegated yarn. I don't know. In the stash patterns, these are, I would say, like honorable mentions because I made them, but I don't have them with me because they were either custom orders or they were gifted. And I have a total of 3 sapo conchos that I made for custom orders here. Then I also made a pattern, a keychain pattern. It's for a sakura or cherry blossom pattern by Woolly Tunes that I made for like this bag charm thing. Pictures will be over here. Plushie I made for a custom order was this curvy, which was also sent off to its forever home. So in terms of stash patterns, I made a total of 7 different patterns. I made multiples of a few of those, but for like patterns that I used, they were 7. So if we add the 3 patterns that I've tested along with the 7 patterns that were in my stash, I've made a total of 10 different patterns. Moving on to the third category, these are my patterns. These could be patterns that I designed in October or that I've designed in the past and I've revisited them to make them for whatever reason. I'm gonna start with the smaller ones, and I was able to make 5 tiny terries, and these were featured in the video, in last week's video, for how many mini makes I could make in a week. So I made 5 tiny terries, which is part also for the Cuddles for Courage donation that I'm getting together. Like, I'm bringing all these items together. You can find the pattern on my YouTube or on my Etsy for like a minimal fee, or on my Instagram. These work up really fast. Then the other pattern that I made 2 of was Beady Beetle. And I know I pretty much sound like a broken record at this point, but whenever I release a pattern, I like to make multiples of my same pattern just to make sure that I have worked out all the kinks. I have been able to take adequate progress photos. If there's anything that needs to be explained a bit better, that's why I make multiples. Plus, I like to show off how they look different by playing around with, in this case, instead of color changing for each round in the wings, I color changed every 2 rounds for this, and just look how they look. They look amazing regardless. They're so cute. I love these. So I made 2 Beady Beetles. These were released halfway through October. It'll be linked down below if you like these sort of like chunky bugs. And then I made a jumbo daisy dragon. She will be sitting at the top of my shelf. I am not going to sell her. She is mine. I even made her in like my brand colors, if you will, which is like green and 2 different purples. She's mine. She's mine. I just love her so much. I just love her. So in terms of my patterns, I made 3 different patterns for a total of 8 different plushies. So recapping, I made a total of 13 patterns, and you can really see the difference between the mini makes and the jumbo makes. For sure, the difference in sizes. So all told, I made a total of 13 different patterns in October for a total of 25 different items. I was surprised that I was on the ends of the like sizes because we had the mini makes and then we had the jumbo makes, and of course we had a couple of the medium like standard sized makes in the middle, which is I don't know. But then again, I love anything crochet related, which is why I'm excited about all this. Definitely excited about all this. And the fact that I did not just make plushies, but I also finished a wearable, which is this one. And then I was able to make 2 beanies. Yes, it's a recap video where I share the patterns that I made, but also when I break them up into like, oh, so yes, I was able to work through a couple of patterns in my stash. I was able to help out other designers with their patterns by pattern testing X amount of patterns. And I was able to even revisit my own patterns in my patterns section, if you will. I really hope all of that just makes sense. If you liked today's video, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking the video, sharing the video, commenting down below any sort of pattern that caught your eye. That's it for today. I will be back next week with another vlog video. So if that's of interest to you, I will see you then. Take care and bye.